introduce Coach Deloche briefly before she gets started. Coach Deloche is a good friend of ours, Coach Ward and I. She's been in the coaching game for a while, and she's been very supportive with her basketball team, her middle school team. She supported me since I've been supporting me, attending camps since I've been at Haas Community College. I am in the process now of establishing my credit and to buy a home. And as I was talking to people, I heard one guy, Coach Bradley said, I didn't start making money until I got my credit straight and got my credit on the right track. For me, I don't have credit. I have no credit cards. I have nothing. I have no line of credit. If you Google my name, you won't even pull a credit score up, because I've never established credit. So I wanted Coach Ward to give it Coach Deloche so she can come on and speak to you guys, because had I known now back when I was your age, I would probably be rich right now. So I wanted her to come on and talk to you all about the importance of credit, establishing credit, and all the good things that she has to talk about with credit. Please, please, please pay attention. This is a part of our life skills. Life skills are things that we go through so that we can be prepared for life after college, after we graduate, okay? So please take heed to this. You may have your parents or someone that you know, an uncle or aunt, who may need help with their credit, and this is what Coach Deloche does. And she, it's nothing that she does for free, but it's well worth every dime, making sure you have great credit. All right? Okay, Coach, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you so much for that introduction. Again, thank you to you and Coach Ward for reaching out to me. I am honored and privileged. And I do come to the games with your former coach all the time. She's going to call me Miss Anna Jackson. Say, Deloche, come on. The girls play tonight. You ready? I got your seat saved for you. Awesome. I said, I'm on my way, Miss Jackson. And so thank you all both. I'm honored. And I know you all got out of practice, and I know the girls may be a little fatigued. So we're going to go through this, and I'll give them an opportunity at the end to ask any questions that they may have. So I played basketball. I was on full scholarship, more academically as well, at Tougaloo College, right? And so I'm at Tougaloo College, sophomore year. I get pregnant, right? Playing basketball, get pregnant. Have a daughter at 21, and it was at that point that the next year the full scholarship became partial. I had to recondition myself, re-earn my time on the team, and take out some months for my daughter before returning to the team, right? So it was really different having a child and then coming back to play. And doing that, I picked up a part-time job, full-time basketball, full-time student. And as I graduated Tougaloo, and one of the things that helped me at Tougaloo is that when we go on campuses, and this was in 98, early 2000, so I'm pretty sure it may be the same now, you're going to get offered these student college credit cards, right? And I got offered a Discover credit card at Tougaloo. And when I graduated college, I'm a health and physical education major. Didn't really want to coach, honestly, but I tried to major in computer science. I thought that was a little bit too difficult for me. And I said, hey, health and phys ed should be a little easier major for me. But when I graduated college, I went not really looking for the coaching job. Some people called me, asked me to coach, but they didn't have any health and phys ed positions, right? So, and I didn't have any other endorsements or license or certifications in any other subject area. So I had to sit out a year. I'm with my daughter, just got married. We could not even afford a home. We had to live with my parents. And I'm at home and I'm thinking, I need a way to make some money, right? I don't have a job offer. And so what I did, my former high school principal, the very first house that he and his wife and children lived in was on the market in my hometown for sale. So I'm sitting at home every day. The house goes on sale. I have a $5,000 Discover card that I got from college. And I think the house at that time was maybe $8,000 or $9,000. I negotiated. I said, hey, I can give you $5,000. Now this is without a job. And so I took the Discover card. I had what you call a balance transfer offer, and they gave you checks for your balance transfer. So I transferred the $5,000 credit limit off of the card by writing the checks to myself and depositing to my checking account or my bank account. And from that money, I purchased a home. And I purchased a house. I got contractors to come in. Again, I didn't have any money. And I made an agreement, a negotiation with them. And I said, listen, if you do these repairs for me, upon the sale, I will pay you out this much and this much. So my then husband at the time worked at Home Depot. And so he was able to get some things discounted. And that was my first experience of using credit in a very positive way to create cash flow. Now, credit in the Black household is a very taboo topic, right? Most you hear sometimes is, when you go off to college, don't get those credit cards. And credit is often looked at in a negative way, but it can be used in a very positive way. And I want to, teach you or show you the both positives and negative parts of credit. Also, I go to high schools throughout the state of Mississippi, or I was going to high schools before this pandemic hit. And I teach high school students about credit. And a lot of them at the age of 18, some things that they face is parents put utilities in their names and they didn't pay those utilities. And now those utilities are collections showing on their credit report or charge-offs on their credit reports. Or a parent put an apartment in their name and the eviction came. And now that eviction notice is on their credit report at the age of 18. So it's a great, if there are better ways for parents to help young adults like yourselves in a positive way with credit. And there are also negative ways like I just discussed. Now, one of the positive ways, I told you about the negative. One of the, PowerPoint zoom in. Trying to just, okay. One of the positive things you can do with your credit or your parents can do for you is called adding you as an authorized user. So you may want to take notes on this because I don't have it in the PowerPoint presentation. It's just something that is flowing with the, if you're taking note takers, just know that note takers are money makers. So it's better to have a long pen or pencil than a short memory, right? So be note takers, and I know you're doing it in your academics as well. And so AU is abbreviated for authorized users. Some of the positive ways that your parents can help you establish good credit at the age of 18 is that if they have positive credit reporting on their credit cards, and Coach Reed, you can do this for your son. It's no age barrier. If a parent, even at an infant, that baby is born 3-4 months, you want to add that baby as an authorized user, just make sure that it's a credit card that you're paying well, paying on time, and that child will begin to establish credit at an early age. So when they begin to be 18 and you creating your credit profile, they are inheriting their parents' good payment history, right? That's something I did for my daughter. And when she became 18, she began her credit at in the 800s, right? So let me break down to you what a credit report card would look like. What's a good credit score? What's not a good credit score? So the lowest your credit score can be is in the 300s, right? If you're anywhere between 300 and 560, that's considered a very bad credit score. In the 650 range is a bad credit score, right? When you get into the 680s, 700, 720, 750, those are good credit scores, right? And 850 is the A+ perfect credit scores. And I worked with a coworker, a Caucasian male. I had never seen a perfect 850 credit score, but he has a perfect. And I've been through my travels and doing this with credit. I've seen, you know, a couple of 850 credit scores. So that means you are perfect. Now I won't break down the profile, but I will tell you this: one of the things that helps you have a perfect 850 credit score as an adult is taking those steps at the age of 18 to understand how to establish good credit and having good credit history reporting on your credit report. So the longer you have good credit reporting, the better chances as an adult to be in that A plus between a 730 and an 850 range. Now, however, if you have above a 730, 750, and 850, you can get some of the same interest rates and benefits as someone with a perfect credit score, right? So this is like a grading scale. If you're, again, 300 is the lowest. If you're 350, 600 would be considered an F. If you're between 600 and 639, a D. I think these numbers are a little bit skewed. 639 and let's say a 678 is what it should be, a C, like a C grade. And then if you're at, and let me say this, between a 600, usually a 640 is where most people get approved for mortgage loans, right? So that's between a C and B. But once you get that threshold of being above a 680, 720, 750, right, you're considered an A or a B plus. So that's where you want to be score-wise with your credit. Now, this is just an example of the different interest rates or total interest paid. If you purchase a vehicle, for example, for $20,000 over 6 years, right, this is what a typical score range would equivalent or equal up to in your interest payments. Now, if you look on this slide, it says FICO score range. Now, there's two things I'm going to ask you all to make sure you have a Credit Karma account. But Credit Karma is not your FICO score. When you see Credit Karma, it's going to say Vantage score. It's going to say Vantage score 3.0. FICO, F-I-C-O, is the credit score that banks and lenders use, right? And so your true credit score is FICO. But I tell people to have Credit Karma in place so that you can look at your Equifax and TransUnion credit reports. Now, there are 3 credit agencies. It's 3. And all of them have different credit scores for you. It's going to be Equifax, TransUnion, and the third one is Experian. A lot of people think that credit agencies, and a lot of people usually refer to them as credit bureaus, is federal entities or owned by federal governments. That's not true. They're just big businesses, right? It's no different than a Home Depot or Lowe's that makes a lot of money off of people's bad credit. And so, again, FICO score is abbreviated for Fair Isaac Corporation because Bill Isaac and Chris Fair are the two men that came together to create a scale of how to range and grade people on good or great or bad credit. So you have a $20,000 vehicle loan over 6 years. If your credit score is at the very bottom, 300, 500, your average APR, and APR is abbreviated for annual percentage rate, will be about 15%. The monthly payment would be $423, $10,000 in interest paid, right? So that total purchase for that vehicle will be approximately $30,000 plus dollars. That's the cost of having bad credit. And a lot of times, often in the Black and brown community or people with low income, when they go to purchase a vehicle, their only means of concern is, can I afford the monthly payment? They never look at the contractual agreement or the interest rate. and they never look at how much will I be paying in interest. Two things you all need to know is that what the principal of a loan is and what the interest of the loan would be. The principal, this is something you would want to put in your notes as well, because I'm going to go into student loans, being that you all are college athletes, right? The principal of any loan is the amount that you originally borrowed, right? You want to have all of your loans with your monthly payments paying as much towards the principal, the amount of money that you borrow, versus the interest, right? So don't just look at, can I afford the monthly payments? Look at how much you will pay back in interest, because if you can see, if you have a credit score ranging from just 600 to 660, right, the monthly payment is lower, but also the total interest paid back to this vehicle is $4,800, roughly $4,900, $4,898. That's at a 7.5% interest rate, right? This is an older chart, but did you all know, for example, the interest rate right now for new vehicles is low as 2.5%, right? And with vehicles being depreciating asset, depreciating means anything that lowers in value. I would rather use the bank's money to purchase a vehicle versus my money in cash, because it's so cheap right now if you have the credit scores. And a rule of thumb, I never buy used vehicles, right? Because two terminologies, or two things you need to understand: things that depreciate lowers in value, right? Things that appreciate increases in the value over time. Vehicles are things that depreciate, right? You buy a brand new vehicle for $20,000, you drive it for 5 or 6 months, you try to trade it in, you may get $14,000 trade-in value, right? And so, but look at the interest difference if you're according to your credit scores. And so a lot of people go out and purchase new vehicles, but they don't look at the amounts that they have to pay back the banks, and simply investing in improving their credit before they make that purchase will save them thousands of dollars over the long term, right? So there's basic types of credit, things I want you all to understand. You have what you call secured credit, and you have unsecured credit, right? It's types of credit, and then I'm going to show you the types of debt, right? I believe that credit can be used just like a weapon. It can be used in your favor to save you money and make you money, or it can be used against you to take away your money. And just remember this in life: your money is going to make someone rich. The question is who? Will your credit be used to pay the banks back interest, or will you do like I did with my first college Discover cards and use credit to pay myself interest, right? And so I always tell people, do not be afraid of credit. The only time you need to be afraid of credit and debt is when you don't know how to use it to create a better financial situation for yourself. So you have secured credit. Secured credit is always backed by an asset or collateral, such as your house or your automobile, right? Repossessions, repo, you don't pay the automobile, gets repossessed, you don't pay that house mortgage, it get bankrupt on, right? And then you have unsecured credit. That's why I love credit card. It has no assets or collateral standing behind it. Medical bills. Now, student loans is questionable, because you can get yourself in a situation with student loans that if you don't pay it back, you still can be garnished or taken to court for that unpaid debt, right? That's not the case in most cases with credit cards. Now, there are also revolving credit. Revolving means to recycle, revolve, repeat. So types of revolving credits or you can pay them off and you can reuse them again. That would be credit cards. Installment credit is the debt you repay at a fixed schedule and you make a set number of payments until the balance is zeroed out, like a vehicle loan, like a mortgage loan, like a personal loan, and unfortunately, like a payday loan, right? I hate payday loans. They are predatory loans. What do predatory loans mean? That they take advantage and give extremely high interest rates to really low income or low credit score people, right? And so payday loans, please try to stay away from them. They're only used in the South. You don't see them in northern states because it's illegal. But when you're in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Mississippi, we average right now the lowest average credit score out of all other states. You're going to see a payday loan just about within blocks away from one another. Again, I work at Pearl Junior High School. It's about 5 or 6 of them on Highway 80 in Pearl, back, right beside each other. So they prey on people with low credit scores and low income communities, right? So those are the different types of credit: revolving and installment. Now, I want you to use your credit, right, to have a entrepreneur mindset with credit, right, and not a consumer mindset. I think I discussed depreciation and appreciation earlier, but then I'm going to define something that's called assets and liabilities. And I want you all to listen to this book, whether you may like a physical book. If you like a physical book, you purchase it. If you like audio books, go to YouTube and listen to it. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. I have a picture of, this is what Robert Kiyosaki looks like. So you spell his name. And the book is titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? If you have not read that book yet, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Make that a book. I make this a book for my high school students to read as well. It teaches you about assets and liabilities, and it teaches you lessons that he learned about money and credit from his rich dad, right? And the lesson that he learned from his poor dad. So an entrepreneur mindset is that you make money to buy assets, right? I don't know what's going on now. I know in my time that J's was a big thing in college campus, especially amongst the basketball boys and girls. Just something about those new J's that came out, $200+ then, that they had to give. But you have to ask yourself a question, young ladies, what would be your career path? Like, if you're in a coaching environment doing practice, you definitely want to, may wear those tennis shoes then, but on the sideline as a coach, you may have to wear pumps and heels, right? If you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, pumps and heels. So know the difference between purchasing assets and liabilities. So the simple definition for an asset is anything that puts money into your pocket, right? I'm going to make this very simple. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket, right? And I ask high school students all the time, I ask them, I said, what are children, right? Assets or liabilities? And immediately they recognize what their liabilities. Now, not that we don't love our children, or your child, but they require money, right? And it's anything that takes money out of your pocket. An asset is anything that put money into your pocket. And so I want to have you all to appreciate credit so it can give you access in life. I believe that there's good debt and there's bad debt. Again, I talked about the vehicle, the value goes down, you get no revenues. Good debt, purchasing homes, renting out homes, flipping homes is good debt because the value goes up, right? the value of those purchases goes up. And I don't know, some of you may have part-time jobs now, but the whole concept of working, and which I want to get to you at an early age, is you don't want to be in what I call the rat race cycle, where you're continuously working for money, and then you work to pay off bad debts, and then now you're without money because you accumulated bad debts, and then you have to work again for the money to only continue that cycle over and over again to pay off bad debts. And then you're continuously working and working, right? And so if you're going to use credit, young people, use it to invest in assets, right? Use it to make you money. I'm not gonna go over the inflation. Real quick, I'm going to go over somewhat of student loans, and then I'm going to talk about credit cards and credit cards interest rates. Then if you all have any more questions, I can go from there, and you can tell me, you know, what, or I will answer any questions that you have. But two things I want you all to understand as college students is that there are two types of loans, right? One is called subsidized, right? And one is called unsubsidized. So the subsidized student loans, they're very low interest rate, but the interest on them do not start occurring until you graduate college, right? So you get a grace period when you get those subsidized student loans, and you don't have to make payments until after you graduate. So this is paperwork that if you're getting student loans, right, that you want to make sure you're able to read and understand. Unsubsidized student loans, however, you start occurring interest on the loan as soon as the money is given to you or dispersed to you, and it goes to your school. So if you're a freshman and you have an unsubsidized student loan, that loan is going to start accumulating interest from your freshman year, your sophomore year, your junior year, and your senior year. Now, you still don't have to make payments on it, but it's drawing or accumulating interest. And I don't think you all maybe can't see this as well, but I'll read from, it's not in my PowerPoint. Try to. But I broke down, if you have an unsubsidized student loan, for example, unsubsidized student loan, and let's say that student loan is about at 5% APR. I discussed, again, APR is abbreviated for your annual percentage rate or your yearly percentage rate, right? Let's say it's at 5% a year. You have to take that 5% and divide it by 365 days a year, right? Because that totals a year. So what happens is that annual percentage rates gets broken down into daily interest rates. So that would bring out to about 0.13% of daily interest rate. So that comes out to about $1.37 a day on a $10,000 student loan at 5%, and it's unsubsidized. But what happens is at the end of the month, that $1.37 a day will equal up to $41.10. And now that loan is at $10,041.10. Well, when the next month starts, now the $10,041.10 is still going to get hit with that $1.37 interest, right? So if a person was paying $150 on this loan, every month that $150 would really equal out to be $108.90. So you can pay on this loan for a year, and you will only pay up to $8,777. And so that's why I also want you all to be educated just as much on student loans as you are on credit cards, because student loans, used to be both private and federal. Now, the good thing about that meant that you could used to get loans from Sallie Mae or Wells Fargo Bank, private student loans. And if you couldn't repay those, right, then you can file them in bankruptcy to help expedite you, get rid of them. But now all of them are federal. So you can't put them in bankruptcy. You're getting daily interest on them. And if you don't pay the original amount more towards that, it's a loan that is very difficult to get rid of. And I see some adults, right? Adults 40, 50, 60 years old, 30 plus years old, that have taken out large amounts of student loans. Like I had a truck driver one time. He had about $80,000 in student loans to drive trucks. I said, why do you need student loan? Why did you take to be a truck driver? Well, I thought that I was, going to choose this career path, and I just took out the student loan. I see a lot of people abuse student loans because they are so easy to get. And I ask them all the time, why do you think the system is set up where it's easier for you to get student loan versus business credit so you can invest? And these student loans hurt people. I mean, $200,000 student loans hurts them later in life. They can't buy houses. They can't, live that American dream. They can't invest, even though they see good investment they want to take advantage of, because they abuse student loan at 18, 19, and 20 years old. Another thing I want, and I'm ending, and I'm going to allow you all to ask questions. If you get Pell Grants back, and people have a budget for these three things, right? Your food, your fun, the alcohol, and extracurricular activity, smoking can be expensive. I know you are probably not doing that, and finance yourself. You get your Pell Grants back, put 60%, 70% of that in a bank account, preferably like a CD account. And if you don't have credit, you might be saying, well, Coach Deloach, right now, I don't have any credit. I don't have anything. That's actually great. I'd rather you have no credit, like a blank sheet of paper, than to start off with bad credit, right? So step one, make sure you check your credit score. Get a Credit Karma account. And also go to, wish I would have typed this out, Experian.com, and get a free account with them, because again, there are 3 credit agencies. So you never have the same credit score for all 3. They report different things. So I don't even know if you can see it on my whiteboard. Experian.com, EXPERIAN.com is also have a free credit monitoring system for you. Experian will show your FICO score, which is your true score, but Credit Karma will at least show you what's on Equifax and TransUnion. Set up an account with those, right? That's your to-do list, right? And see where you stand. See if you have any negatives on your credit report. And again, just know anything over 680, you're good. If not, we have some building to do, right? Know what student loans you are getting. Now, these are some of the best recommended credit cards for college students. I, again, added my daughter as an authorized user on my good paying credit cards. If your parents have bad late payments on that credit card, please don't add your name to it, right? It's going to hurt you. Make sure mom and daddy, they might, yeah, baby, I pay this on time. Well, mama, let me set up this Credit Karma and Experian account for you and make sure, right? Because adding your name to that will hurt you and damage you more than help you. But if they have good credit cards, ask to be an authorized user. These are some very good low interest rate credit cards for college students. When I say low, 0%. And then even if you have a certain GPA, they will give you perks, and you get what they call cash back on what you spend. Now, I didn't really elaborate on the slide that I had inflation up there, but let me define it. Let me tell you what inflation is. Let me go back to this slide. So these are Discover It. Read this before I go. Bank of America Cash Rewards Credit Card for students. Your Chase Freedom Unlimited Credit Card. Your Wells Fargo Cash Back College Card. And again, the Discover It Student Cashback. Now, I talked about APR with student loans. Let me break down APR for credit cards. Now, some of these credit cards will have something called a 0% introductory APR, meaning that it's only for a certain time frame. It may read 0% for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. That means in those time frames, for the purchase you make, you're not going to get charged any interest. However, if you don't pay those balances off in full for your purchases, at the end of that 12 months or 15 months, they will start back from day one and back charge you interest. Now, let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know. That if you pay your credit card bills full every month, no matter if you get a 0% introductory offer or they tell you it's going to be 12% on your purchases or 7% or 18%, if you pay them out full every month, you will never get charged interest. Ever. Don't tell me you all know this. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to learn it from the Caucasian community. I did not know. It blew my mind. I asked my coworker who had the 850 credit score, who's the coach at Pearl. I said, well, how much interest rate does that credit card give you? He said, I don't ever pay interest on my credit card. I said, how is that possible? He said, because I pay my balance out full every month, right? And when you do that, you only get charged interest on the balances that you carry over. I did not know that. So that's why I'm so excited to teach you all at an early age. When you all create your Credit Karma account, there's going to be something on Credit Karma that says your statement date on your Credit Karma. Your statement date is the date that your balances report to the 3 credit agencies. So if you pay your credit cards on the statement date, you got to take notes on these too, not the balance due date, you will maintain a higher credit score. Your balance due date on a statement and your statement dates are not the same, right? And so what I do, for example, my statement date sometimes on my credit card is like the 15th, and they differ from every card. That's why I encourage you all to create a Credit Karma account, because that's the only site that will let you know what your statement dates. It will have the reporting date. They report on this date. You can call and request your balance due date to be whatever you want it to be. I have all my credit cards balance due date on the 28th of every month. Pay, if you have your due date behind your statement dates, pay your credit card or cards on the statement dates, but have your balance due date set behind the statement date so you will not get late. And please try to have your payment on your credit cards connected to your checking account. Preferably automatically pay so you don't forget. You know, you're traveling on the road, you got games, you got school, so you don't forget to make those payments. Credit cards are the best way, when used responsibly, to create and establish good credit. Another thing about credit cards, I talked about, they give you cash back. All right, inflation means the everyday rising pricing of our goods and services, right? A $20 bill could not purchase in 2020 what it purchased just 5 years ago in 2015. So when you use credit cards like cash to make purchase for your food, when you all are going shopping, stocking up your dormitory rooms, you get 5% cash back on that through certain credit cards. When you get that 5%, that helps combat the 3% of the pricing increases on your groceries, right? On your food, on your gas. And so that's why I like credit cards as well, because it helps you establish good credit. It can help you purchase assets, and it can help you fight inflation, right? Which is the increasing of goods and services. And so I'm going to turn this over right now to Coach. And you all, if you have any questions for me, just let me know.
Anybody have any questions?
Everybody fine? Everybody good? And if you have questions you think of later on, yeah, I'd be glad to come back and break this down. But just do that homework assignment, do your due nows, and if you don't have Credit Karma and Experian, make sure you set those up so you can at least see where you stand credit wise.
And I know a lot of you, well, I know y'all not working right now, and I wouldn't advise you to go get a credit card with no cash flow to pay it off.
Right.
And because at a young age, credit cards can look really good, and you can really load them up. And if you're not paying them, now you're establishing bad credit for yourself, and that's hard to clean up. And that's what Coach does. She helps people clean up and reestablish or establish credit. And that's you know, that's something that you can avoid if you do the things that she just told you about. One thing that I would ask you to do, like if your parents have good credit and they have credit cards they pay off that you know about, I would definitely go the route that she talked about being an authorized user. I would definitely consider that component. Student loans, I don't want y'all to get excited. Y'all, we cannot do student loans because you are on scholarship. Student loans will affect your scholarship, and it'll throw your scholarship out the door, and because you can't be awarded too much money. So I don't want you guys to go and be trying to apply for that. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, if you call your parents, talk to your parents, and your parents say, well, you know what, I need help get my credit back on track so I can put you on as authorized user. If they do that, if they need that, you know, get with Coach Ward. And Coach Ward can give you Coach number. I don't know if you're taking new clients, Coach, or not. But
it never stops. I'm always taking clients. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they need help as well, you know, she can definitely help them out. So, coaches, anybody, y'all have any questions? Everybody good? All right. Well, everybody unmute yourselves and let's give Coach Deloach 5 hand claps. Unmute yourselves and we on go. No. On go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this is horrible. Sorry, Coach. This is Zoom, bad.
Yeah, I had no problem. Thanks for the virtual love, though. I felt it. That's good. Appreciate you. I'm looking forward to coming to the games.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, y'all have a good night, ladies.
You too. Do the same. Good luck this season, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.